Previously, item 14A was announced as being pulled, it is pulled. Additionally, item 6 has been pulled and item 8. So 14A, 6, and 8. And while I'm giving out numbers, let me just add 2 more to the collection. The next meeting, which we'll announce again later, but just so you know, will be Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019 at 6:30. Also, I would like to throw this particular date, make it available to you, Monday, January 7th, 7 p.m., and of course, we'll have a chance to announce that at the next meeting as well. There'll be a meeting in the basement of the library regarding the recent assessment by the county. And so the public is invited. Okay, let's talk about the questions that want to be asked. First, Mr. James Garner.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, board.
Good evening.
Again, we're here this afternoon to talk about some of the literature that was distributed at the Riverly House. And there seemed to be some a disconnect between the tenants and the ownership in property management, whereby they should be going directly to management, tell them what the issues are, as opposed to perhaps bombarding your office. And so we're here today with the building superintendent here, Isaac Horowitz, and perhaps Isaac can go into some more detail. Isaac.
Good evening, trustees, mayor. My name is Isaac Horowitz. I'm the director of property management for E&M Management. I'm just here tonight because there was a letter circulating at the property for tenants to attend the meeting tonight. I'm not sure if any of them are here yet or plan on coming, but I came here tonight special just to answer any questions that they may have had or that you guys may have that you would like answered or addressed. I know that there's a few questions that they have, as far as the parking lot is concerned, the parking lot that we just repaved and leveled and remarked, so that now they're going to have to be responsible. If they would like to park there, there's going to be a small fee that we're going to be charging them.
Which I think is $40 a month?
Correct, $40 a month. And it will be secured by electronic gate, as well as multiple security cameras covering various angles of the parking lot.
Also, you bought the lot now, right?
Correct.
I know before it wasn't.
Yeah. So there's also a misunderstanding that that the parking lot, which was previously, before we bought the property, was owned by a different property owner. After we closed on the Riverly House, we did purchase the parking lot, and we own the parking lot now. So we bought it so that our residents can have somewhere to park, because before there was, I think, maybe 10 parking spots for the whole building, and there wasn't ample parking for people to park. So.
I was just walking there. I know you did a lot of work.
Yeah, we cleaned it up. There were also a lot of abandoned, I think we towed about 15 to 20 abandoned cars that were parked over there, not registered, no plates. So, we cleaned that up really well, and it also had to be leveled. It wasn't leveled properly either, so
Is it open?
I'm sorry?
Is it available now to the tenants?
Yes, it's available now if they'd like.
Sure?
Yeah, we have 30 leases already signed for 30
Are they
parking
allowed to
spots.
park there now?
Whoever signs the lease to park there can park there, yes.
Oh, okay.
You just didn't put the gate in yet.
Right, we don't have
Okay.
the gate there yet to
The
control.
Ripley item, actually, originally we discussed tonight, and it's not now, but since we're here, is there anybody who wishes to ask on the Ripley question of the two individuals here in the front?
Mr. Mayor, let me just add an addendum to what Isaac is saying too about that parking lot. When they was constructing that parking lot, and they found the foundation underneath there, they had to pay almost $300,000 to take that out of there.
Understood that.
Yeah.
There's a question in the back. If you approach the mic and give us your name and so forth, let's do it.
While he's coming, are you located on the property? Are you located in the building?
No, I have, so I visit the property daily. I'm not there all day, but I do have a assistant manager who's there
So
daily.
who's the go-to person in the building when you're not?
So the superintendent, Fonzie, he's stayed with us. He still works at the building. He lives on site. He's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's his job. And then my assistant manager, John, who everyone's familiar with, he's there between the hours of 8 and 4 usually, Monday through Friday. And I'm there daily, just depends what time I'm there. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. But just another thing I wanted to point out also to the board is when we took over the property, John and I, my assistant manager, we went door to door, knocking on everyone's door just to introduce ourselves and to hear all of the residents' complaints and concerns. And we made a list of all those items and we've been addressing them. We also set up a list in the elevator for tenants that want their apartments painted. We started that already. We started painting those apartments. Whoever is looking to have their apartment painted, and we've been addressing all the repairs that need to be addressed. So from my end, I think, the residents are happy with the progress that we've been making, and we
Mr.
are
Roberts,
happy as
if you
well.
could yield with Mike, Mr. Lucas.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and trustees. I'd like to ask, how many apartments do the complex hold? And does D have to give 1.5 parking spaces per apartment? And is it exclusively for the tenants, or can anybody park there?
I don't know what the zoning code is for the village of Hempstead. I think what you're referring to only applies to new construction, if I'm not mistaken. But I know that the parking will be exclusively for the tenants that live in the building.
Mayor, Board, the building was built with a parking variance. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know there's a parking variance when that building was
Okay,
built.
thank you.
So if the building was built with a parking variance, does that go back or forth or what? What happens now that he wants to put a parking lot there?
You know, parking lot is already there.
No, I mean, what happens that now that he's doing a parking lot? Does he go under the same code, or is it
The
exempt?
variance was done for them.
It's grandfathered in once the variance is
Oh,
done.
the grandfathered in.
Yeah.
The variance runs with the land. If he's going to add additional parking, great.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question regarding, if you would come up, please? Yeah, there's a tenant.
My name is Ella Longhorn, and my concern is security. What's up with security in the building? It's not a safe place to live sometimes when you're coming in and just so many people hanging around. So we want to address the security. What are you going to do about security?
So one of the things that we've addressed with security in the building is we've installed a state-of-the-art intercom system in the building. And what it does is, in order to get buzzed in to the building, which it works off of, it's linked to the resident's cell phone. So when they call in downstairs, the intercom takes a video and takes a picture of the person that's trying to gain access into the building, and there's no other way around it. We've also had a security expert come into the building and looked at all of the exits on the exterior of the building and looked for different ways to reinforce the doors and the locks on the building so that no one can try to jimmy anything into the door. We put on a lot of those plates over the doors so that no one can try to get anything in there. And we've just, we've made sure that the superintendent does walk the building in the evening, making sure that there's no one in the building that doesn't live there and that shouldn't be there. And we're going to be installing security cameras on every floor, in the middle of the building, as well as in the staircases of the building. And I think that, and me as well as John and Fonzie, the superintendent, and my other handyman and porter that work in the building are vigilant, and if they see someone that doesn't live there, we let them know that they cannot be there. We've called the police numerous times about people that shouldn't be there and need to be escorted out or trespassing, and we address it on a case-by-case basis, but we take it very seriously, the security of the building, and we're always looking for different ways to make sure that it's...
Do you have security, somebody sitting in there?
No, we don't have someone
Or you
present.
didn't want to do that? That's, I think, our question is to you.
We're exploring our options right now.
What do you mean exploring?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean by exploring? Why isn't what? Because I go to that building, so there's always people hanging out in the front of the building. Always. If we go over there right now, there's going to be somebody hanging out in front of the building. So why don't you have a man there?
There are other buildings in the neighborhood that also have people that...
I'm talking about your building. I'm not talking about any other building. So why don't you have a security guard that's there?
So that's why I said we're exploring our options. I didn't say we aren't going to have someone there.
Oh, you are going to have some.
I didn't say whether we are or we aren't. I said we're exploring our options.
I mean, what are you exploring? When you say I'm exploring, what does that mean?
It means we're looking into how, if the property will benefit from having someone...
Because there's a lot of women
there.
there that don't feel safe because there's men hanging around smoking weed and drinking. Okay? The police aren't doing anything about it because they don't know.
Listening in front of the building.
Well, let me just say this thing, you know, Isaac, he's the manager of the building, and I don't think right at this moment he can give you that concrete answer. Obviously, it has to go before.
People don't feel safe there.
I
That's
know
what I'm saying.
He's not the principal of the building. So actually, in order to do that, we got to speak to the principal of the building. Yeah, he represents, but he's not, he don't make the ultimate decision.
Just let me see if I have this clear. The hanging out that you referenced is outside the building?
Right in the back in the lobby. Listen,
In the lobby?
Anywhere they want to hang.
on the premise. On the premise. We're gonna leave it right there. On the premise.
So let me ask you this question, when does that security system you spoke of, when will it go into effect?
It's already in effect.
The reason I ask is because I was in the building the other day because someone's car just happened to be passing by. And all the doors was open, front and back, and it was like a bus terminal, people going in and going out, going in and going out.
That was during the day.
Yeah.
It could be we just left the doors open because we've been doing we've been cleaning out the basements. There was lots and lots of garbage left over by the previous management and ownership. So we've been doing a lot of work in the building. That's the only reason why, if you saw the doors propped open, it wasn't left open because of any sort of negligence. It's just left open because of work.
Is there any way you guys can put someone on those doors while you were doing that? Because people are going in and out, in and out.
Yeah, sure. You can have someone monitor.
And also, the security you described, it still wouldn't affect an answer for people who are hanging out on the property outside the building. So there probably, hopefully, you make your determination, a need for a set of eyes there and some enforcement to make it safer for all, but particularly for the residents.
Yeah, we're looking, we don't just want to hire any company. As I was told by a lot of the residents that live there, the previous security officers that were there acted more as a concierge service than security service for the residents. They didn't really serve a purpose of acting as eyes and ears for the safety of the
Ms. Hollis, just one moment. Did you want to comment further?
Those doors are open and propped open on the weekend like that, when they are not working, taking out garbage.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'll address it right away.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm a resident of the village of Hempstead. I just have a question. Well, actually, I'm going to make a statement. I think that it's insulting to the taxpayers and to the residents that live there that you're charging them parking. And we just gave you a very generous pilot. That should be
If you're
factored
talking to
in.
the mic, the people will be able to appreciate your question or comment.
I said that I think it's insulting to myself as a taxpayer and every other taxpayer in the village of Hempstead and the residents that live there, that you're charging them for parking. And the mayor and this board here gave you a pilot, a very generous one at that. That should be factored in.
I'm just an employee of the building. I'm not familiar with the pilot program or any...
Well, it's free money. all right, to people that don't deserve it, okay? Those parking lots and those spaces, you shouldn't be charging people. That should be factored in. Or maybe you should deduct it from his pilot.
Okay, thank you. Any other people wish to comment? I'm just wondering, maybe you should remain here. Thank you both.
Okay.
Okay, your question is up now.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Mr. Mayor, thank you, board.
Thank you.
The mic is, again, yours.
It was about Linda Knowles. You pulled it, but I just had a question because,
I think that question needs to be saved until the January 2nd meeting.
well, the question is it going to be more detailed because you have all these blanks? What are the services? Are you going to be able to have that available in January?
January 2nd.
Number 7,
Okay.
regarding the tax grievances. What is this referring to? You getting with the county of Nassau?
Nassau County is unable to actually assess their own grievances by employees. They're going to ask us to do it, and we're going to reciprocate by asking them to actually, if we have an employee who grieves, that they solve that problem. So the county and the village, in effect, are switching so that there's a fairness to the process.
You got to repeat that again. please.
Okay, Nassau County cannot assess their own employees. The village of Hempstead cannot assess their own employees. So they're going to do our employees, we're going to do their employees. These grievances.
And number 9, authorization by the board to submit an application for an emerging contaminants project plan grant be ratified.
Right. We voted on it, but we have to make it formal by doing it in public. It's a plan that there's $50,000 at stake. 20% of that's going to be paid by us, and 80% will be a grant from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation.
When did you vote on it?
We did by telephone.
By telephone?
Yeah, so we hit the deadline. And so we have to ratify it today in front of the public.
So now you're going to ratify it
That's correct.
in public,
That's
but
correct.
you voted on it in private.
We voted on it so that we can meet the deadline and make this money possible.
Yeah, but as a taxpayer, I think I should have been aware of the vote before the ratification.
That would be kind of difficult because you're not the only person in the village. So we'd have to notify
What
everyone.
about transparency?
The transparency is the fact that we're doing it here in public.
Well, you're doing it after the fact.
Give me the alternative. The alternative is to turn down.
The
$50,000.
alternative is to be transparent,
All right, but
period.
I'm suggesting,
and there's no justification for that.
well, I'm going to offer you one. The $50,000 was never been available to the residents of the village.
This is not what you were elected for. You or the other members of the board.
Okay, appreciate that. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Next time, you should just have dummies up there.
Comment of that nature is unnecessary.
You
Yes,
don't do nothing for us.
let's keep the
But say
spirit,
yes to
the
positive.
spirit of the season, please.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Patricia Perez, village clerk, the board of trustees hereby approves the minutes of the regular meeting of December 4, 2018.
Yeah, I move that the reading of the minutes of the regular meeting of December 4th, 2018 be dispensed with and be accepted as reviewed.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro? Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Chair wishes to report that Mayor Ryan and Deputy Mayor Renfro have approved miscellaneous business license as reviewed. Justice Court, report of the village justice for the month of November 2018. Total number of cases before the court, 1,834. Total monies related to village controller, $177,056. Copy of this report is on file in the village clerk's office and will be viewed by the public during office hours.
I'll take this opportunity to remind people if they want to use the open mic. That's their opportunity to fill out forms. Thank you.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Tracy August, Deputy Village Attorney, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the settlement of tax related matter with Frank Sahar for the property known as 503, 509 South Franklin Street, and 18 West Marshall Street, Hempstead, New York, a total of $17,000 for the tax years 2012-13 through 2017-18.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that after the recommendation of Tracy August, Deputy Village Attorney, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the settlement of tax related matter with Corner Club for the property known as 46-416 Jerusalem Avenue, Hempstead, New York, a total of $15,500 for the tax years 2014-15 through 2018-19.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
So we pull item 6, we move on to item 7. Resolved that upon the recommendation of Deborah Urbano DeSalvo, Village Attorney, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the agreement between the County of Nassau and the Village Assessor for the Village of Hempstead in relation to providing review of tax grievances.
So moved.
Second, please.
Need a second? I'll second
Any questions?
on the question.
I don't know if anybody can answer. Yeah, there's more of them than us, right? So it's a little one-sided. Is there a certain amount of their employees that can come through our system? Because there's gonna be a lot more in Nassau County, their office is just larger than ours. So they could send us 50, 60, 100 different assessments, and we can send them 2 or 3. That doesn't seem,
That's a fair question. We asked it, and we were told that that would be in the 10 to 15 range.
what happens if it's not?
Well, I mean, that's the figure that they said, based on past experience, that they can anticipate
How many do we send that way?
a handful.
What's a handful?
5.
I have big hands, so.
7, I would say 7.
7.
Takes a big hand.
Hand in a hand.
I move the vote.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, we're moving to item 9. Resolved that upon recommendation of Deborah Urbano DeSalvo, Village Attorney, the Board of Trustees hereby authorize the mayor to submit an application for an emerging contaminants project pending grant be ratified.
I'll move.
Second.
I had a question, no, I didn't get the answer from treasurer. So, this doesn't necessarily bind us to moving forward on the $6 million grant, right?
No.
$6 million bonding to match.
No,
No,
this is just for.
just to start with it. Thanks.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Joseph Simon, Superintendent Building Department, the Board of Trustees hereby approves to issue a license as a master employee electrician to Leonardo Warin, 181 Meadowbrook Road, Maywood, New York, 11566, and Diego Pula, 2640 91st Street, number 1, East Elmhurst, New York, 11369.
A second.
Trustee Johnson?
I have a quick statement. in regards to this. I still don't see anyone from Hempstead on any of these lists. We gotta do a better job. I'm done with my statement.
And you vote?
It's been going on for years.
Yes.
Won't change. What you vote?
Say yes.
Trustee Pettis?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Tracy Ellis, Deputy Village Attorney, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of Rhonda Leader as per diem as Special Prosecutor in the Legal Department at a fee of $30 per hour. Such term appointment to end on April 2nd, 2019.
Move.
Second.
There's a question that you have. Yes, Deputy Mayor?
Not to exceed how many hours?
Not to exceed 25 hours a week.
These were, I'm sorry, these replacing?
One prosecutor is being replaced, and this is to handle the additional workload that the village attorney's office has now with our new justice, adding additional protocols.
And that's her on the first row, right?
This is not Ms. Leader, this is the next one, but yes, this is one of the prosecutors.
Basically, they're gonna do code traffic enforcement. The load is such that is deemed by the legal department necessary to have 4 additional people at the rate of $30 per hour.
3 additional people.
3 additional people, apologize.
One of which is here, Ms. Charlene. Should I come up? If the board has a.
No.
Okay.
Does this alleviate the back and forth that we've been seeing?
That is the goal.
Right.
That is the goal. I can't remember how your honor is, what change you might need to make.
We have a motion and a second, let's vote.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Pettis?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Tracy August, Deputy Village Attorney, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of Charlie Rogers as per diem Special Prosecutor in the Legal Department at a fee of $30 per hour, not to exceed 25 hours. Such term appointment to end on April 2nd, 2019.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Pettis?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Tracy August, Deputy Village Attorney, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of Dorothy Rose Locasio as per diem as Special Prosecutor in the Legal Department at a fee of $30 per hour, not to exceed 25 hours. Such term appointment to end on April 2nd, 2019.
So move.
Second question. Do you, when, they all won't be working at the same time?
Yes, ma'am. The caseload on Wednesdays now with the additional preparation that has to be done in conjunction with the extra preparation that's been placed on the buildings department. Yes, everybody will be here at the same time working.
Oh, so we'll be making a lot of money.
I can't speak to how the court will render their judgments,
Yes.
but in terms of the workload,
Mhm.
it will be taken care of.
The workload will be taken care of.
Yes.
I have a question. So you're saying we have more prosecutors on the workload? Some of this is code enforcement workload. Maybe we should hire more code enforcement.
Say that again?
Maybe we should have more code enforcers.
Are you talking about the housing violations? Yes. I can't say.
You're hiring more
if the
prosecutors,
building-
but are we hiring more code enforcers?
No, to clarify why we're hiring them, there has been additional responsibilities placed on the legal department that are requiring the presence of more prosecutors as we are attempting to quick move cases from fruition to litigation, whether that's gonna be dismissal, trial, whatever, to, bring a more of a more streamlined effect in terms of how the village court has been run up until this point. These efforts are a joint effort with village court as well as legal department, and we anticipate there's going to be even more of a trial load, especially now that we have begun this task force for the abandoned homes that are in the village, and it's becoming a problem with the foreclosure rate. So we do anticipate that the workload is increasing, as it already has. As you're well aware, there's been a number of exchanges between staffing and what esteemed justice would like in place. So we have to hire additional prosecutors in order to meet the needs of village court. The judge does have full purview over how he wants his court run, and there really isn't any other alternative that we have other than bringing in the additional staff that is required.
We still need more people to write the tickets, to observe violations.
That has not been a complaint from Justice Court. It is actually the trying each and every one of these violations. That, like on the calendar tomorrow, there are over one particular litigant that has 27 violations. That's a heavy caseload, and that is someone that's a case that we want to be able to have the staff to pay the kind of attention that is needed, because this is an ongoing problem with housing violations in this village. I don't think we need more building department inspectors, if that's your question. I do believe we just need the attorney to move the items along.
We're back to item 14.
No, I need to, vote. Trustee Johnson? Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Remind everybody, once the docket is finished, we're not taking any more questions, so please bring them up now if you have any. Thank you.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Lisa Barrington, Executive Director of Human Resources, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following appointments of a position within the Village of Hempstead. William Serrano, 99 James Barnum Way, Hempstead, New York, M. DPW sanitation labor, $14.91 per hour, effective upon approval. Ruben Santiago, 99 James Barnum Way, Hempstead, New York, goes from part-time to full-time. DPW sanitation, motor equipment operator, grade 107, $14.91 per hour, effective civil service upon approval.
So moved. I moved.
Give me a second, please.
Second.
Trustee
I have a
Johnson?
question, sorry. So one is from one's moving from part-time to
Two
full-time?
full-time,
So how
yes.
many full-time employees does that give us? And
That would be something that DPW and I here.
are they currently within their,
No, we
Budget.
put 14 in.
we're in full-
These are both part-times.
no, one's full-time, one's moving from
From part-time to
part-time to
full-time, yes.
full-time, and the temp is a full-time temp, or is it the same rate?
No, I think that's.
It's a part-time.
On 14.
It's a part-time laborer.
Part-time.
It's on, yes, William Serrano. That's what is on the memo from Ron Martin, which is the supervisor from sanitation and recycling department.
So we don't know how many people are there currently, or what this person's gonna be doing.
No, he didn't provide that information.
The number of people we have will be available anytime you want to call.
Well, we've asked for the org charts. The org charts don't really equal what's there, and what's in the budget.
I was not aware of that request, but the number of people we have in the sanitation department will be available for you to call tomorrow.
If you like, I can have Ron Martin call you tomorrow and provide information.
I think maybe we should wait until the human resource person get back so we can
I agree.
make sure that we get this, that the table of organization, not just for sanitation, but for throughout the village.
Every meeting, we're just hiring and hiring and hiring more people.
table it?
Well, we have a motion and a second. I suggest we vote.
This is part-time.
Okay, so let's vote. Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Pettis?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
No.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
14 ayes, vote, so we're moving to 15. Library. Resolved that upon recommendation of Philip Nicholas, chairperson of the Hempstead Public Library Board of Trustees, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the reappointment of Melissa Figueroa as a board member of the Hempstead Public Library for a 5-year term from January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2024.
Motion, please.
So move.
I'll second.
Trustee Johnson?
Question,
Oh, go ahead.
has the library, well, the question was on the table last meeting. The results of that question, the hours, is it going to be open on Sunday?
They're having a meeting, I believe it's tomorrow, and that will be discussed at that meeting.
Any other questions?
Can I add something to that?
Certainly.
We were open on Sundays from 1 to 5. It was a budgetary consideration, and I spoke with trustee Renfro about the possibility of reopening the library. And I would opt for 1 to 4, because 1 to 5, you lose your audience at around 4 o'clock when they're running home to football game or whatever. So it's a budgetary consideration, and we also need to hire part-time librarians to work on Sunday. Otherwise, we're paying double time for a full-timer to work on Sunday.
How many people are currently on the payroll in the library?
About 35.
I mean, you hire more people to open up for another 4 hours?
We have to, otherwise we need to pay the full-time. It's a contractual matter. And if they don't get paid double time, then they opt to take the time off. I mean, compensatory time. All new hires have it in their contract when they're hired, that if we are open on Sundays, you may be required to work one Sunday a month.
I think this discussion is best suited for your library board tomorrow. Hopefully you'll come up with a fair resolution. The idea of being open on Sundays, I think, is an excellent one, because a lot of the individuals use Sunday as an opportunity to use the library. So hopefully you'll be able to come up with a good answer for us at tomorrow's meeting.
Report back to you.
Thank you.
Is there a reason why there's a discrepancy between the 35 people that you just stated and over 40 to 45 people that's currently on our books?
Well, are you talking about full-time equivalents, or are you talking about part-time?
Anybody that is employed by the library, that steps foot in the library, how many employees are there?
I can't give you the exact amount, but I can provide you tomorrow with the breakdown of full-time and part-time.
Don't you run the library?
Yes, I do.
But you don't know how many people work at the library?
I have professional staff, I have part-time staff. It is,
Separate, apart, how many?
I can get that information for you tomorrow.
And get you board tomorrow too. I'm not going on that.
Excuse me? Okay.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Pettis?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
No.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Phil Nicholas, chairperson of the Hempstead Public Library Board, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the reappointment of Dolores Kershaw as a board member of the Hempstead Public Library for a 5-year term from January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2024.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Pettis?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
No.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Raymond Kalain, Treasurer, the Board of Trustees hereby approves for Marina Ramos to carry over 4 vacation days past her anniversary date on December 7, 2018.
Second.
Question, what happens if we're already past December 7th?
What happens if what?
We're already past December 7th. It says move past her anniversary date on December 7th, 2018. Today is past December 7th. I don't know what day of the week it is, but it's not December 7th.
So they wish then to carry over those 4 vacation days.
But it's already happened, right? Isn't it?
No, it means that the anniversary date is December 7th. It should have been done by then, it wasn't, so they want to carry it over and use it another time.
Which means you said you can't.
To carry over.
So it just rolls forward to the next.
Correct.
And it can continue to roll it forward. If it's unused.
By all vote.
Any question?
I have another question, but Lisa is not here, so. I think there should be a cap for this. We have to,
About carrying over days?
yeah, we got no big deal.
Aren't you able to, don't you, at the end, when this person retires, don't they get paid out all for unused time? If it's in the contract, and at the higher rate of whatever their contract is at that point in time, with cost of living adjustments. And at the table, when we're negotiating contracts, the employees and their union representatives are fighting for more days off, time off, so that they refresh when they come to work, but at the same time, they're not using the days and rolling them forward. I mean, when does it stop? Go ahead and vote. I mean, fine. We just keep digging a hole, because that's what we do.
Ready to vote? Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
No.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon recommendation of Raymond Lane, Village Controller, all meeting bills ordered by the Board of Trustees on check warrant dated December 18, 2018, be approved as previously reviewed.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Look, this is a quick question. Where are we from compared budget to the actual on the certs? But this is, included in here is tertiary payments.
We budgeted about 2.2 million. So far, we've used 1.2, so we have about 900,000.
Include that too, your 1 point is including this 500?
I'm sorry, how much we have left?
About 900,000.
And we're only, that's through the first
Thank you.
quarter all the way through now, right? That's all the way through now.
She wants to say something.
So we're a little bit.
That's also including, some that has not been approved yet.
You have to call the board.
That we know that's in the
That's
works.
in the works.
It's everything that's in the works
And
right now.
that's included in the-
Yes, this is the tool number to our years.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
I went back to my seat and I tallied up the number of employees that we
Yeah,
have.
yeah, yeah.
We have 8 professionals, we have 15 full-time clerks, we have 13 part-timers, give or take. Now, there are other members of the staff that we get from the Urban League that we don't pay for. But they have the site, the work site is the Hempstead Public Library.
But I think you should compare that list to the active employee list that's on file in the village. The active employee list lists over 45 active in the library.
Active meaning they're on.
Active employees on the
Okay,
payroll.
there are people that are on the payroll that haven't worked for a period of time. And They haven't left the staff. We have some part-timers. We have Jamie Amberlees, who is working part-time. There are a number of people that haven't worked in a long time.
So we've got 45 to 50 people that we're paying, and only 35 working.
Excuse me,
We're
you
not
got
paying.
8, 13, and what was the last one?
8, 15, and 13 part-timers.
So 36 more.
So that's a total of 36. So the give or take of the 45 may be people, and I'll furnish that information to you if you'd like. So we don't have 45, it's 36.
So yeah, I like to reconcile between the two, because she marked those that are active as active, like.
That are working.
Correct. That's
Okay,
what I wanted.
I'll check it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Dawood Abdul Hamid.
Good evening, trustees, mayor. Before again, I'd like to thank you for the work you've been doing with the youth in the community with upgrading the parks, Lincoln Park, and I see that you're in the process of working on Kennedy Park, and I appreciate that. My son is a swimmer. He swam for Hempstead Youth in the summer, and they were using the pool in the high school from the summer to then abruptly stopped in November. The coach, she just sent us a email saying that they're no longer allowed to use the pool at Hempstead High School. She didn't give us an explanation. She didn't tell us why. So,
It's not right here, that explanation would have to come from the school board.
we'll have to go to the school board for that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Reggie Lucas. All right, 7.
Good evening again, Mayor and trustees.
Good evening.
As usual, I know from our police department, the amount of shot spotted reports that from the last 2 weeks, and the injuries that occurred from that, if any. Yeah, there were certain things that you guys approved of that I'd like more clarity on. And one was the agreement between the county of Nassau and the village of Hempstead assessor. I couldn't understand, I didn't understand that at all.
The Nassau County, you wish me to wait till you finish with
Okay, yeah, okay. And the other one was the project planning board grant be ratified, like, a little more depth than that. And authorization of the master employee electrician. And, you're hiring 3 more attorneys or whatever. And like I said, are they going to work at the same time, or they going to be individually working, making decisions? Okay.
Why don't you take the last question?
They will be working. The court is open for conference and trials. The first Tuesday, the third Tuesday, and every Wednesday, and we have trials on whatever we do not resolve on conference days on Fridays for housing and traffic violations. And we have parking trials that are also on the first and third Tuesdays. Not only do people have the opportunity to conference their tickets, but if they're unhappy with or feel like they don't want to plead guilty to a ticket, then we have to bring them out at a trial, which we do the same day. So yes, all of the prosecutors will be staffed during those days.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted
If you want to
more
know,
clarity.
there's also outside work that does have to be done in terms of we get motions to oppose various tickets that people have gotten. They call them motions to dismiss. We get summary judgment motions. The prosecutors are also responsible for responding to motions that they're assigned to. That would, you would see that would be something like an out of court expense, and they the village pays the prosecutors to do that legal work, because that involves doing legal research and properly drafting responses to motions. And we do get a lot of motions in the village.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that's good. The other question, Nassau County employees grieve. Nassau County can't solve that. We do it. And the same thing holds for our employees, they'll solve that. Stacy Hargraves is factored in this equation, she's agreed that this is a worthwhile.
Okay, thank you, that's understanding. Okay, hello?
First, I'd like to compliment you on your Newsday story.
Thank you for the
It was positive. It was positive press for the Village of Hempstead, and I'd like to thank you for that. As far as shot spotter alerts, we had 6 alerts since the last village board meeting. There were two confirmations that there were shots fired. It did result in 1 injury.
Okay, we say 1 injury, what, can you say what part of the torso?
The male subject was hit in the thigh.
Okay. Is this gang related, would you say?
We don't believe that one is, no.
Okay. Is there any other crime that was committed other than shooting, you know?
There were other crimes in the Village of Hempstead. The yearly total, I can tell you that the total amount of crimes, major crimes, is down 32%. So there is an impact being done. We've recovered 39 guns year to date so far.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Chief, I don't know if cut me off if it's too much, but there's several great things several prime initiatives that have taken place in the village, and I think you should let the public know about the amount of arrests. Now you give us the notifications, so I think you should let people know about the drug arrests and things of that nature. That work is being done.
There were a lot of positive things done. I can't get into too much details, but we had a major drug arrest where we took in approximately $196,000 and 2 kilos of cocaine, of which we're going to seize properties and other things from that. But with the DA's help, that does go back to help fight crime in Hempstead. We're also in course right now of an initiative with Nassau County. I'm sure some of the residents have seen us out there. During the course of the last few weeks, we've made 112 arrests from November 16th to December 11th. That culminated 4 different details throughout the village that we're trying to make a positive impact. So you will see Nassau County as well as Hempstead working together to target and try to impact certain areas. There are some more coming down the road. For obvious reasons, I can't tell you when and where they are, but we're out there and we're trying to make a difference.
Chief?
Yes, sir.
I think you might want to leave that right there for now.
Yes.
The more you talk.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.
Great job. Okay, Jackson Leeds.
My name is Jackson Leeds. I'm a NASA OTB cashier, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the residents of the village that patronize NASA OTB, as well as a fellow co-worker who's a member of St. Paul's in Hempstead. In 2003, Yale-educated attorney for New York City OTB, which is now deceased in bankruptcy court, opined that New York City OTB had the right to open on Roman Catholic Easter Sunday and Palm Sunday and take bets on tracks running without the state of New York. Different people have different religious views and different views on gambling. But any child who has been educated by his parents certainly knows, either in public school or parochial school, that when the church split, that His Holiness Bartholomew and Pope Francis do not agree on when Easter Sunday is. The state controller has opined that the OTBs of the state of New York are in financial difficulty. An appropriate person within the village of Hempstead can request a formal opinion from the Attorney General's office, which will confirm what Ira Block was unable to proceed further with because He was, in the words of the late John Gotti, merely nothing but a high-priced effing errand boy, because that's what lawyers are. They can't sue unless they have a client. New York State Constitution, Article 1, Section 3 further says that the state shall not express religious preference. And I'm here as an employee of the Church of Nassau OTB, whose simple premise is that we have a lottery machine. If you want to buy or cash a ticket, and it's not an IRS, and you want to be paid in cash, you take it to Nassau OTB. If you want to bet a horse that's running outside the state of New York, that the reason that the OTBs are in the financial state that they are is because they don't have the common sense to open and take bets when tracks are running. It's axiomatic that Easter Sunday is presumably the holiest day of the Christian calendar, and anybody should be free to do what they want on that particular day. And every year I get great pleasure in sticking a pin in my fellow coworker James Muchachos and saying to him, "See, screwed again. They closed on the wrong frickin' Sunday." And while Pope Francis and His Holiness Bartholomew do not issue opinions on matters of civil law, no less an authority than Pope Francis has said, "Thou shalt treat the other person's church with respect." And I'm here to enlist your help to see that my church is open every day of the year when tracks are running outside the state of New York, and that New York Parimutuel Law Section 109 is unconstitutional and does not apply to any of the OTBs in New York State.
Thank you, Mr. Leeds. Door Shaw.
George Shaw. Just a couple questions. Well, first one, question about asking for minority electricians, where you're posting it at. You're saying they should do a better job.
I never said minority, I said Hempstead resident.
I'm sorry, that's in my head. But Hempstead residents, where are they posting it at? Well, it would be nice if you take initiative and just push that forward.
Yes.
In some places.
Thank you.
Yeah. You talked about the brown, I'm looking at the, okay, here. Contamination projects, where exactly is that at? I don't know. The contamination project, Yeah. With the grant, yeah, where is that located at? Is that?
It's a grant of $50,000.
Right, is that the ground, under the ground?
No, it's not.
No.
What is it?
It's, New York State keeps changing what you can find in the water, right, and up to a certain particles per billion or whatever.
That's that free answer?
No, it's not fair. They're looking at another potential contaminant, and they're giving grants so that we could actually do the research for that contaminant and then figure out what the Freon is included in that, and then how we put the solution to get it out of the water.
Trustee's right. I believe California's started this and got everybody concerned. We want to stay in the loop. So that's what that grant is for, so that we can have a plan in place.
And the library, thank you for, doing some work with the library. She's been untouched for a long time with the prior mayor. You need to get the library up to par. We still have the oldest library that never seem to have things that they need to have. It's just unfair for her to be paid $187,000, $183,000, and don't come in here with proper answers and efficient as it needs to be.
Trustee Renfro sits on that board, and he'll be there tomorrow.
All right, thank you. The IDA tax breaks is really one. I would like an update on the printout of the IDA tax breaks on all the buildings here.
I'm sorry.
I would like a printout of all the IDA tax breaks of the buildings here.
It's actually in the village budget. It's in the budget. The budget's a public document. It's actually, you can get it right from the budget. It's a page in the budget. Has every single.
It's updated now? Okay.
Yeah.
Did Lyndon Knowles have a tax break before?
Yes, it did.
So they're asking for a new one?
No.
It's a terminology, maybe it's semantics, but it's technically not a pilot, but it's the same effect. It gives them a tax break.
At our expense? They get a tax break because?
In order to be able to maintain that facility, we felt it's necessary for them to get that break. We don't want to have the building closed.
Burning on us.
Mayor,
Yes.
correct, we didn't get a reduction at all from that.
No.
The village did
The
not.
village did not.
Did not get any reduction.
We were made whole.
We were made whole in that entire transaction. Now,
That's the same owner as 100 Terrace.
no.
It is.
Uh,
Floyd.
Yes, that's the same owner.
It is, Peter Floyd.
And moving forward, when you get a building of that magnitude, which should have never been built in this village,
Okay.
that magnitude, because it becomes a problem for us on all levels, water, police, everything. But now you have these 17 properties that have to be developed, right? I need y'all to do some math and put the crisis mode forward with IDA tax break. But if you have every building, every owner coming in here, you have 17 properties. You have everyone requesting a 20-year tax break.
Not necessarily. In the 17 projects, right now, there are 5 that are under consideration. And of the 5, in terms of tax breaks, I think 2 of them have forwarded that to the IDA board. 3 have forwarded to the IDA board.
Mr. Mayor, if they don't do it forward, they're doing it backwards.
No,
303 was 2
understand.
years later.
Just trying to get
Y'all
the
need,
numbers.
I know, but be realistic about it. They're all going to ask. They're all going to ask. I don't care what they do.
I think that's fair.
Y'all need to do some case study, do some work to try to hit some of this off at the pass, not allowing them to come in or build, especially residentials of any magnitude. And then we're stuck helping the poor keep the building existing
Let me make a comment.
because
now.
they'll be homeless.
Let me make a comment now, if I could. The IDA board meets Thursday, 9 a.m. in the pavilion.
But y'all all 5 are saying yes
No.
they're asking the village gets permission for IDA tax break, don't they?
Let's back up a second. The IDA board meets,
4 people.
and they are asking, well, we have representatives, the Hempstead based.
Right.
They are asking for a letter from the mayor, others.
And they all said yes, but one.
They're asking for a letter from the mayor, and if the other trustees so choose, they also can write a letter, and they can also speak at the open mic. The vote is then done by the entire board, including the Hempstead item, the 4 signed people there that represent our interest.
And they voted yes, the 3 there, and 1 voted no, right?
Now, there's not always a yes vote.
It's not always, but Mr. Mayor, please, we're gonna drown here worse than what we are with the new projects coming in. We can't keep carrying up the old projects and giving more breaks, and you have so many new projects coming in, which we need more than we need some of the.
All right, the topic is coming up Thursday. The letter I wrote was not in support.
Okay, we'll see where that goes.
Yes, because that's one voice, one vote.
Right.
It's only a discussion, it's not a vote on Thursday.
Excuse me?
It's only a discussion, it's not a vote on Thursday. Oh, it's not a vote?
Okay. I think on Thursday, what he's referring to is the fact that there is, a presentation was made, there was a need to make an adjustment. It was done by the IDA board as a whole, something that they would find satisfactory. However, I think a counter offer is now being proposed, and I think that's the discussion that trustee Lamont Johnson, who sits on that board, was referencing.
And the county put in the paper to stop some of the carryover of days for non-union workers. I don't know if y'all looked at that.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you don't have to keep, as you say, just giving it out to everyone because they carried it over. It's there to use. They need to be asked to use them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else here? Isaac Rashad?
Yes. Hello, Mayor Ryan and trustees. Just a quick, I'm the treasurer of the National Action Network, Nassau County out here. And just a quick question is that our president, Reginald Pope, has been in contact with Vanessa regarding a correspondence regarding the Narcan training from the Office of Alcoholism and Substance Service of New York State. And it's actually scheduled for February 6th, the training. So
Excuse me, where would that be?
at the library. And so he sent several correspondence to you, Don Ryan.
Yes.
But he hasn't heard anything from you. So I just wanted to ask you if you have read the correspondence or anything. But he's also spoken to Vanessa a few times about.
Vanessa Henry?
Excuse me.
Vanessa Henry?
Yes, who answered the phones when she called.
Oh, that's different Vanessa.
Yes. Okay.
I'll check with Vanessa
Okay,
tomorrow, because
great.
I have not read that correspondence. but
Okay.
I'm happy to hear the Narcon training.
Yes.
In our library, February 6th.
February 6th.
6:30?
I don't know the time.
Okay.
But, yeah, but they're scheduled to come in February 6th.
No, we appreciate that. That would be something that I think will.
Yeah, because actually, we definitely need that training out here.
Right.
Definitely.
You know what day of the week that might be?
Not on another day.
Thank you. Just want to make sure it doesn't.
Okay.
That's Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
but if it doesn't work out for us out here, Mayor Ryan, you can just talk to Reginald Pope and just change it, okay?
Yeah, I'll do that. I appreciate you. bringing
Okay,
my
well, I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. All right. Okay.
Renee Holmes?
Hello, Mayor and trustees.
Good evening.
I have a couple of questions. My first one is about, one concerns the transparency, and it does fit in with what several other people have alluded to, and in particular about items, I know it's pulled, but items 6, 7, and this emerging contaminants project. I think that you should have a way to put on your website copies of those proposed plans or proposed projects so that people can have ample time to look at them prior to the board meeting, and the residents, not you guys, you already have it. And then people can have an opportunity to review it. And I'm specifically asking that because there were so many at the last meeting, somewhat negative comments made about this Linden Knowles,
Yes.
about the ownership. And since y'all represent the village, it would be, to me, it seems like it's equitable as well as transparency. It requires that you give the residents of the village a chance to review it and come up with comments if they have any. And you can do that by putting it on your board, on your website.
It is posted on the website.
The proposed plans are already there?
The entire docket.
Okay, of all three of these things.
Yeah, no, I think though your comment is twofold. In terms of the docket, yes. In terms of the number 7, not number 7, excuse me.
Oh, I didn't mean 7, I meant 6, 8, and 9. I didn't mean 7.
Okay. 6, 8, 9? Well, 6 and 8 were pulled, were they not?
They were pulled for this meeting. That doesn't mean there's not going to be one
It's on the
eventually.
website.
I think number 9 is a standalone question, and I think your recommendation of putting it on the website is a good one. The only thing I would mention is, when we do that, some people remind us that they don't have computers at home, so.
We have a library with computers.
No, I'm just telling you what is said to us by the public, and that your answers now are excellent.
Okay. My next question is about this emerging contaminants. What's the contaminant? I happen to be an environmental lawyer, so I really did not have any idea what an emerging contaminant meant. Where will I find out what that is?
Actually, the state of California began this.
Oh, I know what California does, but I wanted to know, since we're the ones who put in for the project.
We're looking to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what the contaminant was.
I don't know.
Okay, well, how would I find out?
You know what the actual chemical is that's coming?
Yeah, I mean, I actually been an environmental lawyer for over 25 years. I know what these things are.
Attorney, do you have anything?
But it's more than that. It's more than that.
It's more than one contaminant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more than
Okay. Okay, I'll just get with you. Okay. My last question, this really is important to me. Okay, the special prosecutors that per diem special prosecutors, do they all live in the village of Hempstead?
They do not.
Why not? Okay, was this advertised advertised positions.
Yes, it was.
Where?
It's been up on the village website. It also went through our human resource coordinator, Lisa Barrington. It was advertised at Hofstra. It was put on the village website, and it was sent to all the local law schools, and it's been advertised for about 3 months, and we have not had one Hempstead resident applicant.
Okay, all right, I won't comment about I can't talk for anyone but myself on that matter. But I do live right across the street and I am an attorney and I never saw this anywhere. But anyway, I'm not trying to be self-serving. But you do have lawyers in Hempstead, and I know of several others who probably would have applied for this if they knew where to look for it. You don't send out a newsletter to the village residents that I know of, not necessarily your group, but just the whole village. Because if it was in a newsletter, I'm pretty sure you would find some people who are village residents. Because that's what I noticed about just generally is that a lot of the people who seem to be in higher level positions in the village, not counting, I'm not talking the trustees or Mayor Ryan, they don't appear, I know, but they don't appear to be Hempstead residents from what from what they've shared. And that's okay, so you said it was advertised for 3 months, and it was on your website. But again, if village residents, as a rule, most people don't run around just looking to look at the news. Let me go see what's happening in the village about a hiring. I don't think that happens very often, at least with lawyers. I can honestly say that. But it's not just lawyers. I'm thinking if it's a village employment, really it should be going to village residents first. But
that meets the criteria, and when you do check the website, it does say village resident preferred. That has always been our stance to hire village residents. We do have village residents that do work in the legal department, our full-time staff there. We do have that purpose. Yes, we do. We do have employees that
I said I know.
residents. Yeah.
I was agreeing with you.
In terms of hiring village residents always our priority, but if we don't have an applicant, we have to go with who's best suited, because then again, everybody's agenda is here to serve the village.
So all the people who you hired are people who were actually looking on your website for these jobs?
Yes, they contacted us through the server.
Okay, that's all I wanted to ask you about that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I wish take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy, healthy, holy holiday. God bless. Happy New Year too.
Motion to adjourn?